Hey everybody, it's time for dinner with Debbie. It's Tuesday night, almost 6:30, and I'm back. I took a couple of weeks off. I guess I really need to start off by saying I know a lot of you follow me on Facebook, and I need to thank all of you for all of your well wishes and everyone who's been praying and just sending well wishes for my brother Jim. He's still hanging in there. He's a fighter. So we are still, hoping for the most positive outcome. So, but in the meantime, I'm back home. And we still need to eat. It's still Tuesday night and I still need to have dinner. So, I am bringing you today, hey Meighan, Meighan, you're going to love this. I'm making spaghetti Pomodoro, which is a simple tomato sauce pasta. And I chose this because this is the season where if you have a garden, almost everybody plants tomatoes if you have a garden, and all your tomatoes come in at the same time. So everybody is left with this huge amount of tomatoes. So that's why I chose to pick this recipe for this week. Now, I don't have a garden, but I did go to the farmer's market last weekend, and not only is the produce delicious there, it's all fresh and local. They actually, the vendor that I go to the Brambleton Farmers Market on Sunday mornings, and they usually have a little bin of the tomatoes that maybe aren't as pretty as the other ones, and they're perfect for sauce, and they're a little bit less expensive. So I picked up a bunch of those. I want to show you how I go about, I really want to show you this trick for getting the skin off of the tomatoes. I got 6 of these tomatoes, and I've prepared most of them in advance, but I did leave one to do. So this is a perfectly ripe tomato, and what we're going to do is we are going to core it. And just so you know what I'm doing, I've got a pot of water here, just about to the boil, and then I also have prepared a bowl that it's an ice bath, so it's like water with ice in it, so it's super cold water, and you'll see just how quickly this comes together. So what I'm going to do is core the tomato. So it's basically that part of the tomato. I am just cutting that out with a knife. And it looks like this little cone when you take it out. And then we're left with this. And this is not quite boiling yet, but it really is almost. So I'm going to go over the rest of the ingredients first. It's super simple. What I like to do with this is that this comes together so quickly. If you want to put a protein in it, what I like to do is grilled shrimp, and sometimes I just do the shrimp that are already grilled from Wegmans and put them on top. But if you have chicken breast, so you can put really any kind of protein on top of this that you want. But the ingredient list is really small. It's short, and I think it's worth taking a look at. So we've really only got the tomatoes. I've got some really nice pasta. This is a dried pasta. You can do a fresh pasta if you, that'll cook faster. I've got a big bunch of basil that I got also from the farmer's market. And I have some grated Parmesan. That'll be for the end. I've got my favorite olive oil here. This is from California Olive Ranch. Of course, we have our salt and we have our pepper. And I also have some garlic, which I already peeled and sliced. I just put those into little slices, and that will help make the sauce. But the first thing we have to do is we're going to blanch these tomatoes and then get the skin off. And this is a really cool trick for getting the tomato skin off. Yeah, this is just about ready to boil. I probably should have waited a few minutes to go live, but I really thought it would be boiling by now. Oh, let me show you what wine I'm drinking. I'm drinking this lovely French wine. It is a white blend. Grab the bottle. I got this from some wine club pickup, so I really don't know too much about this wine other than it's French and it's a white blend. It is Saint Varan. I can't pronounce any of that, but here we go. Hey Vicky, how are you? Vicky, I'd like to really thank you for some of the messages you've been sending me. I really appreciate them. Let me put that back in the fridge. So one of the things that I know, my brother actually really enjoys cooking as well. So this was something that we didn't really do it together, but we both kind of do it. I guess we're just, apples that have fallen from the same tree, so to speak. But all right, so I've got my tomato, which is cored. And we're going to put it into, I have a slotted spoon for this because I don't want to burn myself. But this water is just really coming to the boil, so I might have to leave it in here a little bit longer. But I'm going to drop this into my pot. And we're going to let that go for like 30 or 40 seconds. And it, like I said, it may take a little bit longer than that since it's not like super boiling yet. But let me bring my ice bath over here. So here I just have a regular bowl of water with ice cubes in it, so it's super cold. And I'm just kind of watching this. I might as well have a sip while I'm doing it. Now, I do tell you, I did taste test this a couple weeks ago. It's a really good recipe. And does come together pretty quick. I know it sounds like a lot when you have to like blanch the tomatoes and all of that, but it really is worth the effort, I think, to get the skins off because the skins are kind of tough. So I'm just kind of like rolling this around, and what I'm looking for is for the skin to just slightly split open. And since I only put one little tomato in here, it shouldn't take that long to do, so I'm not like dropping a whole bunch of tomatoes in and dropping the water temperature down. But I'm just really waiting for that skin to split, and once it does that, I'm going to scoop it up and put it into my ice bath, because not only will that stop it from cooking, it will also chill it off enough so that I can handle it with my hands, and you'll be amazed when you see like the skin just comes right off. I'm going to get rid of my trash. So let me grab my knife and my cutting board because I will need them for putting together my sauce afterwards. And you'll see the sauce comes together super quick. Check out this tomato again. Oop. I'm going to leave it just a few seconds more. The skin is starting to split, but I'm just going to let it go just another second. So hey Mary Beth. So this is creating no wine until done. No. Well, we have to have wine while we're making it. That's just kind of how I roll. So here, cheers, Mary Beth. So yeah, I think we can go ahead and take this tomato out. Yeah, it's totally split. And I'm just trying to get the water out of the cone there. And I'm just gonna dunk this right into our ice bath. And I'm gonna let this water continue to boil because I'm going to use it for my pasta. But what I'm going to do is move it to another burner so that I can bring my ceramic coated nonstick pan that I got from Williams Sonoma, which I think I talked about before. They were on sale. My favorite. It's my favorite designer on sale. So moving the water over to another burner, because we don't need to see that. But I do want to show you this trick for how easy the skins come off. Hey, Randy. How easy these skins come off of the tomatoes once you've blanched them like this. So let me see if I can get this a little closer to you without dripping everywhere. So you can see, I've got like that big split there. The skin has already started, and I'm just gonna like, it just comes off like in big huge pieces. And if you've ever tried to like skin a tomato without blanching it, you'll see like there, that's it. The tomato is totally skinned. So I also want to remove the, hey Nikki, I'm gonna move this out of the way. I also want to remove the seeds, or the majority of the seeds. And this little trick is pretty cool too, because normally when I'm normally slicing a Mary Beth, what are you writing? Cheating, can't spell. I don't know what that means. So normally I'm going to be slicing my tomato like this, but today, to get the seeds out, I'm going to be slicing it. And you can see that putting it in the ice bath, I'm able to hold it like this. I'm going to be slicing it this way, kind of horizontally, not vertically. I'm just slicing it in half. And you can see, now I can see all the seeds in there. And if I were over the sink, I would just be squeezing them. But I'm not over the sink right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just tease them out with my fingers, and I'm not going to be like super fussy. I'm just going to like stick my finger in there. Of course, I washed my hands before, and just like poke in the little crevices there and get, you know, as much of the seeds out as possible. So see, that's kind of like what it looks like after that. So, and I've got these two halves to do. Now that water is boiling pretty good, so as soon as I'm going to go and put the pasta in, because that is going to take like 12 minutes, and I'm not sure I'm going to make you guys wait 12 whole minutes to like for that pasta, but I do want to show you the sauce. So, but I want to get that together. So let me throw the pasta in. And like I said, I use DiCecco a lot of times. It's a nice dried pasta. You can usually find it. There is a new Italian market that has just opened recently in Leesburg, my town, and I'm dying to check it out. And I just haven't had a chance to get over there yet, but I'm really dying to check out everything in there, from like the cold cuts, the mortadella, everything just is from Italy. So I'm putting about a half a pound of spaghetti into my boiling water, which is the same water that I boiled my tomatoes in. So there's probably a little bit of flavoring left from that. Let me get my... If you don't have one of these little doohickeys, the pasta thing, it's really nice for, you know, stirring pasta and not getting the spaghetti clumpy. And another little handy tool is that this hole in the middle of it, if you put the pasta through, it's supposed to be like one serving of pasta. I've never used it, but it's just kind of a fun fact. So, all right, so the pasta is going. And now I have my non-stick. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in here, about 3 tablespoons. And you know, I never measure. So I have taken 5 of the tomatoes already and diced them up. So what I'm going to do is take this one that we just did, and I'm going to cut that into, it says a 1/4 inch dice, but you know, who's measuring? Not me. I just kind of cut it up into cubes. And I'm going to put that in my bowl. And like I said, most of the seeds are out of the tomatoes now. So, you know, it'll be good. And it's just such a good way to use a lot of tomatoes, and the tomatoes don't have to be perfect, which is kind of nice, you know, because in fact, one of the tomatoes I used looked like it was like one of those tomatoes that was like right on the verge of like tomorrow I probably wasn't going to be able to use it because it was going to be like too soft and yucky. So this is like the perfect use for it. So I'm going to get this out of the way. Alrighty. So, you'll see this sauce comes together so super quick after this. So I've got about 3 tablespoons of olive oil in my nonstick. And I just turned on the heat. I'll let you see that. Boop. For those of you who have been tracking my pan usage, I've been really digging the ceramic coated. They're very nonstick, very nonstick. So I've been really happy with them. So once this heats up, and while I'm waiting for it to heat up, I might as well have a sip. And this is so light. Normally with like a red pasta sauce, I might be tempted to have a red wine. And I think it's kind of borderline. I think you could do either. But I felt like today felt like a white wine kind of day. So that's what I did. And so I've already taken, now the recipe, which will be on my YouTube channel, will be in, and when this gets downloaded onto Facebook, you'll have the entire recipe. This comes from the Flavrs app. And it's actually Eric Ripert, who is a really famous French chef. I just love that he has so many like really, I don't want to say simple because that makes it sound condescending, but just like really getting to like really good fresh ingredients, and you don't have to do a lot to them, to make them shine. I mean, the star of this recipe are these fresh tomatoes, and why not have them shine? You don't have to do a whole bunch to it. So that's why there's very few ingredients and there's very few steps to get this done. So what I did, the recipe called for only 1 garlic clove, but of course I never do 1 garlic clove. I did 3 and I sliced them up. If you don't like garlic as much as I do, you know what? Do 1. And I actually, peeled the real garlic and sliced them up. A lot of times I'll save time by using the jarred minced garlic, but I feel like I wanted the bigger pieces of garlic. And it's definitely hot. That's the one thing about these ceramic coated pans is that I think they get hot faster, and I don't think you need as much oil, and you don't need the pan to be as hot. You don't need to have the heat up as much, because I think they're just so good about collecting the heat, keeping the heat, and evenly distributing the heat. Yeah, it's definitely sparking up. Now, you do not want to burn your garlic. Garlic gets bitter. Garlic, I don't know what I'm talking about. Garlic gets bitter if it gets burnt. So I want to keep my eye on this. I don't want to do other things while I'm doing this, but it only takes a few minutes. So, I mean, not even a minute. So this is already a little bit brown. So I'm going to take my tomatoes, and this is probably going to, sizzle up. Yep, it sizzled up. And I'm just going to stir this in, and let me, ooh. And you can see Pomodoro, actually, I believe, if I'm correct, is Italian for tomato. And that's really what this highlights. Hey, Debbie, how are you? I haven't seen you in forever. We need to get together. All right, so I am letting that kind of mix and simmer a little bit. I'm going to adjust the heat on that. I'm also going to give my pasta a little bit of a stir. And I'm checking the time on my pasta. It's been in there about 6 minutes, so it's about halfway through. Okay. I dropped my ingredients, my recipe, so I want to make sure that I don't. That's been kind of a problem for me in the past, is that I've forgotten a couple of things. So want to make sure that I've gotten everything since there's so few ingredients in here. So We've added the garlic, we've sauteed them till they're golden brown. Now we've added the tomatoes, and we're gonna season them with salt and pepper. And then these are going to simmer for about 4 to 5 minutes. And I like to make it rain with the salt. Don't tell Mark. And let me grab my pepper. All right, if I was feeling it, I would get the pepper grinder out, but I'm not feeling it, so I'm just gonna go with the already ground. And I have a heavy hand with the pepper. You can also, if you wanna make it a little bit prettier, a little bit fancier, you could use the white pepper so that the little black specks don't show up. So letting this simmer for about 4 to 5 minutes will let some of the liquid reduce and cook down the tomatoes a little bit. But we don't want it to get so cooked down that it's like mush. You want a little bit of chunk in there. This is meant to be a really fresh sauce. And the other thing, since Marianne is watching this, she will appreciate this. I think this would be perfect if you are the type of person, like I know Marianne DeVita is, that makes meatballs and puts them in the freezer. This would be like the perfect time to pull out a bag of those meatballs and defrost them, and then you can just throw them on this beautiful, beautiful sauce. I think that would be delicious. But since I'm trying to be, you can obviously just have it without any protein on it and just have have it as a vegetarian dish, and that works too. Just to like have some warm crusty bread. That's what I like about it. It's so flexible. You can really have it do whatever you want. And I can guarantee that this sauce is 1,000,000 times better than a jar of ragu. I can guarantee that. So, cheers to that. So we're at about 9 minutes for the pasta, so we've got about 3 more minutes, and that's about the same amount of time that this tomato sauce needs to be going. So I'm just going to keep stirring it occasionally. And what I can do is start getting the garnish ready. I'll get some bowls. I'm going to serve this in a bowl, and I have my basil. So I'm going to take some of the basil, I'm going to take a few of these leaves. It smells so good. I wish you guys had was it like the Jetsons who talked about smell-o-vision? That's about the only thing from the Jetsons that hasn't come true yet, since we have like jetpacks and everything else that went on in the Jetsons, which we thought was so amazing as a cartoon in the 70s. So I have like a few basil leaves, and I'm just going to cut them into strips, which if you want to get into what the technical name for it, that's called chiffonade. I kind of like roll the leaves up like a little burrito and just slice into thin strips. I find that to be the best way to chop up basil, because otherwise the leaves can get bruised if you overdo it with the chopping, and they don't look as pretty. And I'm all about looking pretty. I'm all about my food looking pretty. So the technical chefy name for this technique of cutting basil is called chiffonade, and you can see this is how it comes out, like little ribbons of basil, and that has of course released more of the aroma. I'm going to give the tomatoes a little stir. Take a look there. Yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you guys, this smells delicious. I think next year I might do a vegetable garden. I don't know. I mean, I've got, some space I can do like a little bit. I just, I always worry that I'm going to overdo it. I always have like these big, huge ambitions to Like I want squash, I want corn, I want tomatoes, I want peppers, I want all these things, and then then the garden gets to be too big, and then I don't take care of it. So I think maybe I'll just plant a few tomatoes so that I can do some of this on my own. All right. So we are at 12 minutes for our pasta. So I am going to turn the heat off, turn the burners off. I'm going to turn the burners off of the spaghetti and the tomato sauce. Oh, I need to strain this, so hold on. This is like where I need like a 2-camera show. Alrighty, so I've got my pasta strained, I've got my tomato sauce, and I'm going to show you how quickly this comes together. So I'm going to take like a big scoop of my pasta. I'm just going to, I think maybe I need a little bit more. There we go. And then, oh, I only have the slotted spoon. Let me get the regular spoon. You don't want a slotted spoon to put the sauce on. So as you can see, when I pour this in, this is still really chunky. And this is going to get topped with some fresh basil. And I have some grated Parmesan cheese, which I'm going to sprinkle liberally because, you know me, cheese is the center of my food universe. Yummy. So let me give you a little look. And that's that. There you have it. I'm going to throw some grilled shrimp on top of this, and that's dinner in a salad. We're good. We're good to go. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you give it a shot while there's still a multitude of tomatoes out there. And again, thank you so much for all of your well wishes and everything. And we really do. We may not be able to respond to every single one of you, but know that we read every single one of your comments. We see every single one of your likes and hearts and well wishes and your texts and your messages. It has been an extreme comfort to both me and my family. And, you know, I will continue to update you night owls. And for those of you who aren't night owls, you probably read it the next day. But as things go, we will continue to update. So just wanted to say thank you again. Super grateful. Have a good night.